Namaskar and welcome to the 33rd day of our Ramayana Satsanga. Lakshmīnath Samarambham Nathayamuna Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Yo Nityamachyutapadambuja Yukma Rukma Vyamohatastaditarani Trinaya Mene Asmadgurur Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारी परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदप्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. With prayers at the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra and Acharyas, let us go to our topic for today. So, in yesterday's satsang, we saw how Rama and Sugriva take a vow of friendship with the fire, with Agni as their Sakshi. Now, further what happens is, as they are having their discussions, Sugriva remembers suddenly and he says that actually when we were sitting on top of this Rishamukha Parvata, we saw Ravana taking away one lady in his Pushpaka Vimana. And that lady threw some abharanas, she threw some ornaments of hers down. It was wrapped in a cloth and she threw that towards us and it came and fell where we were sitting. So we have kept it safely. So Rama immediately says, yeah, please show me that. So here one shloka which Valmiki Rishi attributes to Sugriva, that is important. So when Sugriva is telling how they saw Sita, he says, Atmana panchamam mam hi drishtva shaila tale sthitam uttariyam taya tyaktam shubhani abharanani cha. I was the fifth one. Means along with him there were four other Vanaras. Myself being the fifth one on that mountain cliff. On seeing me, that lady dropped all that auspicious jewelry of hers along with wrapped up in the upper cloth of her sari. Like this he says. Now why he's saying this and why, what is the relevance for Sita having looked at Sugriva? We will see that later. So now Rama is very excited and he says, yeah, please bring, let me see, because he wants to confirm, that it is actually Sita's or not. So they bring and show all the ornaments, and looking at those ornaments, Rama is wailing and crying in agony. He falls, he holds those ornaments to his heart, and again he starts crying over how he has lost Sita. Then turning to Lakshmana, he asks him, he says, Lakshmana, do you recognize these ornaments? Do they belong to Sita? Are they Sita's ornaments? Are you able to identify them? He asks. And Lakshmana replies, and that reply is very famous. Eva muktasattur Ramena Lakshmano Vakyam idam abravit. Lakshmana says this to Rama. What does he say? Naham janami keyure, naham janami kundale, Nupuretu abhijanami, nityam padabhivandanat. I don't know the bracelets of Sita. I don't know about the earrings of Sita. But because I used to every day do salutations at her feet, I used to bow at her feet. That is why I know these anklets which she was wearing around her feet. That is the reply of Lakshmana. So here we are given a glimpse how prayerful was the attitude of Lakshmana towards Sita. Just like it is told in the Shastras that the elder brother's wife is like the mother, Lakshmana every day used to fall at the feet of Sita and worship her like a mother. And that is why he says he has never looked at Sita Devi's physical body above her feet. He is able to identify the anklets which she was wearing around her feet, because that he used to see every day. He says, I don't know about what she was wearing in her arms, what she was wearing in her ears, because I have never looked at her above her feet. That was the greatness of Lakshmana. And such a Lakshmana, Sita had said such harsh things to him when he refused to run after Rama, isn't it? Now, what happens next? After they have identified, they know now that they are on the right track, and they realize that they have to go to find Ravana. Before that, Rama has promised Sugriva that I will help you to get back your kingdom, isn't it? So then he asks Sugriva, what exactly happened? Why this enmity with Vali? What is the story? And then Sugriva narrates the entire story. He tells how once Vali was the king and Sugriva was his brother. So they were both in Kishkinda, and there was this demon called Mayavi who came there and challenged Vali to a fight. Then Vali ran after him, and because Sugriva was scared that something may happen to his brother, he also ran behind Vali. Now, as they walked and walked in the forest, there was a big cave, and that Mayavi demon went into that cave. So Vali told Sugriva, you wait outside here, you stand guard here. I will go in and finish him off and come. Now, Vali followed that Mayavi into the cave. Sugriva was waiting outside. A very long time passed, many weeks passed, many months passed, almost close to a year passed, and he found that there was no sign of Vali coming out. And then at one point of time, he heard loud screams, and it was the voice of the Rakshasa who was screaming, and there was no sound at all of Vali. Soon after some time, there was blood also which came gushing out of the mouth of that cave. And so Sugriva was scared. He assumed that that demon Mayavi has killed Vali because he is not able to hear Vali's voice. So what he did was to prevent that demon from coming out, he closed the mouth of that cave with one big stone, with a big boulder, and he left it there. And he rushed back to Kishkinda. He narrated everything to the people. Now all the mantris, everybody, they said that already so much time has passed. The Rajya is without a king, and this will lead to chaos and anarchy. So they insisted and made Sugriva the king of Kishkinda. After this had happened, after some days, what happened is Vali returned back and he was very angry. He said he felt that Sugriva has cheated him and Sugriva wanted to become the king, and that is why he has done this to me. He trapped me inside that cave, and that is why he has come here to become the king. Sugriva tried to explain. He begged forgiveness. He fell at the feet of Vali. He said, I am very happy to know that you are alive. I thought you had died, and that's why I came. Now you please forgive me. It's okay, now that you have come, you be the king. I don't have any wish to be the king, and so on. But Vali refused to listen to Sugriva. He threatened Sugriva that I'm going to end your life. You go away from here. And faced with that threat that Vali is going to kill him, Sugriva ran away, and hiding from Vali, he came to this Rishamukha Parvata because there was a curse that Matanga Muni had given to Vali. Vali had once fought another demon called Dundubi, and he had thrown that, Dundubi's body flying in the sky. And the drops of blood from that had fallen on the ashrama of this Muni and disturbed his tapas. So he had got very angry and he had cursed that whoever is responsible for this act, if that person comes to this Rishamukha Parvata, then that person's head will split into 1,000 pieces. So because he was scared of that, Vali did not go into that mountain at all. And that is why Sugriva thought he was safe in that place because Vali would not come there, and he was living there ever since. Now, Vali had threatened Sugriva. He wanted to kill him. He was on the lookout for him. And not only that, he had taken away, this Vali had taken away Sugriva's wife called Ruma, and he had forced her to become his queen. When one person is living, to take away forcibly their wife, that to the wife of a younger brother, is considered ghor aparada by the Shastras. We will see about that later when Rama is talking to Vali. But anyway, for now, let us understand that these are all the wrongdoings of Vali. At first, when Sugriva tried to explain, he did not listen to him. Then, when Sugriva begged forgiveness and fell at his feet and surrendered to him and said, please don't do anything to me, he did not listen. He wanted to kill him. And then he has taken away Sugriva's wife, who should be like a daughter to him. He has forcibly made her his wife. So these are all the things that Vali has done wrong. So listening to all this, Rama is convinced. He says, yes, whatever Vali has done is ghor adharma, and I will help you get back your kingdom. Because he has done so much bad and so much evil, he is fit to be punished. And therefore, Rama promises Sugriva that I will help you to kill Vali and to get back whatever is rightfully yours. So now that Rama has promised, Sugriva is happy. No doubt he is happy. And they have made a mutual promise that Rama will help Vali and Rama will help Sugriva to eliminate Vali, and then Sugriva will help Rama to get back Sita from Ravana. Now, although this promise has been made and everything is fine, Sugriva is having a lot of doubts because he knows that Bali is very powerful. So he is having his own doubts about whether Rama is really capable enough. So he decides to test Rama. He tells Rama that I know you are very capable, I know of your Parakrama, but still, because Bali is so powerful, I am scared. I want to make sure that are you really capable enough to stand up to Vali? That is why I want you to show me your Parakrama. So the first test that Sugriva sets for Rama is that I told that Rakshasa called Dundubi had been killed by Vali. The carcass of that, the skeleton of that was lying in one place. So this Sugriva tells Rama that Bali had kicked this thing, this Dundubi demon, and let me see whether you are able to do the same thing. So Rama doesn't have to do anything much. He just goes close by. He touches his big toe to that skeleton of Dundubi, and he just flicks it. He doesn't even, kick it hard. He just flicks that carcass with his toe, and that skeleton jumps up and goes and falls at a distance which is 10 yojanas away. Okay, now Sugriva is happy. But then he tells Rama that, okay, you have done this, that's very great. But it was after all only bones. There was no flesh, there was no blood. When Bali had kicked it, it was a living demon. Now it is only bones. So, anyway, that's good what you have done, but I'm not still convinced. So then he sets another test. There are some sala trees. That's a type of tree which is having a very thick trunk. So there are sala trees here in the forest. Bali had so much prowess that if he held on to one tree and shook it, all the leaves of that tree would fall down. And if he shot an arrow, then it would pierce one tree and go and come out and pierce the next tree. That was the prowess of Bali. So let us see what you can do with these trees. Can you do something similar? Asks Sugriva. Now Rama stands up. He aims his arrow, and the arrow he lets out is gone with such force that there are 7 sala trees standing in a row. The arrow breaks through each of those 7 trees. All those trees are completely denuded. They lose all their leaves. That arrow, after passing through 7 consecutive trees, it uh, hits off the head of that mountain also. It levels the mountain. Then it enters into the earth. It goes to the Saptaloka. It goes to the bottommost of the Saptaloka, the Patal Loka, and it comes back and sits in Rama's quiver. That is the force and power of Rama's arrow. Now, seeing this, Sugriva is convinced. He is thrilled. And he says, yes, now I'm convinced that you are really capable. So they decide that let us go today only and fight Bali. So Sugriva goes, he challenges and calls Vali, and he says, come, I want to fight you. Let us decide this once and for all, and so on. So Vali comes, there is a big fight, and although the fighting is very severe, Rama does not do anything to Vali. So Sugriva is badly hurt, and he is forced to retreat. He comes running to where Rama and Lakshmana are, and he says to Rama that what is this? You should have told me first only if you were not ready to fight. What is this? Why did you do like this? Why did you not do anything to Vali? How could you just stand quietly and watch me getting hit like this? So then Rama says that the fact is that I am seeing you and Vali for the first time. And from far off, both of you are looking same to me. I couldn't identify who are you, and who is Vali among the two of you. So that is why I didn't want to take the risk. I didn't want to shoot the arrow. And suppose I had to hit you instead of hitting Vali, then what a great mishap that would be. So I didn't want to take that risk. And so I didn't hit. Now he tells Sugriva, now you come here. I will give you something which will identify you to me. And then he calls Lakshmana. There are some flowers there called Gajapushpi. And he asks Lakshmana to make a garland of that flower, and he asks Sugriva to bow in front of Lakshmana and get that garland on his shoulders. So Sugriva stands in front of Lakshmana, he bows his head, he folds his hands, and he waits for Lakshmana to put the garland around his neck. Once Lakshmana has put that garland, then Rama says, okay, fine, now you are ready. You go and challenge Vali again the second time, and we will see what happens. So again, Sugriva goes. Vali is surprised that what is this? Just now, some time back, I had given this fellow such a thorough beating and sent him away, and why he has come again? How come he has come again? At that point of time, Vali's wife, Tara, who is a very wise lady, she is one of the Panchakanyas. She cautions Vali. She says, see, this man, this Sugriva, had come once and challenged you. You have given him a thorough beating, and yet so soon he has come back again. If all these years he was quiet and now suddenly he is appearing like this time after time, that means there is somebody to support him. You be careful. You better not go and give him a fight this time. She warns him. But Bali is arrogance. In his arrogance, he does not want to listen to anybody. He is confident. He says, no, no, nothing will happen to me. Tara, in fact, tells him that there is somebody called Rama, I have heard, and all that. But he does not listen. So he rushes away back to the fight with Sugriva. They both start fighting. But this time Sugriva has that mala around his shoulder, around his neck. And so Rama is able to identify who is Sugriva. He shoots the arrow. He stands behind a tree. He positions himself so that he is behind Vali. And in that position, he shoots the fatal arrow, which pierces the heart of Vali, and Vali is killed. Of course, there is a small time gap between Vali dying and Vali falling down with that arrow hitting him. So what happens next? How Vali questions Rama? What are the answers that Rama gives? We will see in tomorrow's satsang. But for now, whatever we have discussed till here, let us understand the deeper meanings of those as explained by the Acharyas. So first thing we talked about today was that Sita saw Sugriva while dropping those ornaments. Why is this significant? Sugriva himself is telling that that lady saw me. Here the Acharyas explain that all along this Sugriva has been having a difficult time, isn't it? All bad things have been happening to him. But now there has to be some good turn in his life. And that will come when he gets into a friendship with the Lord. But for someone to connect with the Lord, that will not happen directly. The Devi's Kataksha has to be there on them. The glance of the mother has to be there on them. And only then they will be in a position where they are fortunate enough to get the grace of the Lord. So that is exactly what happened. When Sita was passing over this hill, over this Rishamukha Parvata, she saw all those Vanaras. She particularly looked at Sugriva. And because of that look of Devi, because of that Devi Kataksha, then only the path is ready for Sugriva to get the Lord's grace. That is the significance of Sita looking at Sugriva and blessing him with her glance. Then we saw that when the ornaments were shown, Rama is asking Lakshmana. Why should Rama ask Lakshmana whether he recognizes the ornaments? Doesn't he know by himself? He has seen Sita every day wearing those ornaments. Why is he asking? Here the Acharyas say that he is in such extreme grief and he is in so much pain that he is worried that whatever ornament I look at in this sad state of mind, everything will look to me like Sita's ornaments. So let me ask Lakshmana, because Lakshmana is not so emotionally disturbed by all this. So Lakshmana will be able to identify better. So from that, we get a message that whenever in our life difficult situations come and we are very much in grief or in a lot of pain, we are suffering emotionally, mentally, then we must be aware that we may not be able to see reality for what it is. In that case, we should ask somebody else who is with us to help us make out what is the actual thing in that situation, right? Then we already talked about how Lakshmana had so much seva bhava, so much feeling that Sita was his mother, that he never looked at her above the ankles. And that is why he could only recognize her anklets. Then we saw this episode where Vali and Sugriva are fighting, but Rama is not shooting at Vali for the first time. He just lets Sugriva get hurt. What is the reason for this? Here the Acharyas explain that Sugriva had made 2 mistakes. And as punishment for those 2 mistakes, this was happening, that he had to take those beatings from Vali. What were those 2 mistakes that Sugriva had made? First, he tested the Lord himself. He did not have Vishwasa. He did not have the conviction. He did not have faith in the abilities of the Lord. He had taken on the Lord's friendship, but he doubted him. And that was an apachara. That was a wrong thing. That was a crime that that Sugriva committed. And therefore, because he did not have trust in the Lord, this was the punishment for him. He not only said that he didn't have faith, he actually dared to test the Lord. And that is why he had to undergo this difficulty. The second thing is that Acharyas explained that all along, whenever Rama and Lakshmana were interacting with Sugriva, Sugriva used to only look at Rama and speak. He would offer a seat, but only to Rama. He would talk whatever he's talking only to Rama, and he totally ignored Lakshmana. Not once did he offer a seat to Lakshmana. Not once did he express anything to Lakshmana. He acted as if Lakshmana just doesn't matter. So he was not at all bothered about Lakshmana. He didn't give any respect to him. Now that is something which the Lord, which Rama, would definitely not be able to bear. We have already said that how for the Lord, his devotees are no doubt very precious to him, but he has much, much affection, even more for the ones who are the dasa of his devotees. And if Lakshmana is his dasa, if Lakshmana is his bhakta, then somebody who is disrespecting Lakshmana will not get favor from the Lord. So that what Sugriva did, not offering respect to Lakshmana, was Bhagavata Pachara. And that is why the Lord had to punish Sugriva. Now, what happened? When Lakshmana was putting the garland, at that point of time, Sugriva bowed his head in surrender to Lakshmana. He bowed down his head, he folded his hands, and he offered that sanmana, that respect to Lakshmana. So Lakshmana was like in the Acharya Sthana, and he put the garland for Sugriva, and now the Lord was pleased because that mistake of Sugriva had been rectified. And that is why after Sugriva was garlanded by Lakshmana, then when he went to fight, the Lord very willingly shot the arrow which would eliminate Vali. Now, in the Kamba Ramayana, there's an interesting thing that is told that in that we said that test is set up by Sugriva, isn't it, for those 7 trees. Now, in Kamba Ramayana, they say that when Rama was giving the instruction to his arrow, he didn't tell the arrow that go and hit those 7 trees. He said, go and hit those 7 things. So, anything in this universe which was in groups of 7, all those things got scared. That is how the Acharyas explain in this Kamba Ramayana Vyakhyanam. So there, what are all those things? The Sapta Samudras, the 7 oceans, they got scared. That is the arrow of Rama going to come and hit us. The Sapta Lokas got scared. That is Rama's arrow going to come and hit us. The Sapta Giris, the 7 mountains, got scared. That is Rama's arrow going to hit us. The Sapta Rishis, those great sages, they got scared. And the Sapta Kanyas also got scared. That is Rama's arrow going to hit us. Of course, the arrow was obedient and it only hit the 7 Sala trees. But then it did go into the Patal Loka and it came back. So in some ways, the lower Lokas were also affected. But other than that, nobody else had any injury from the arrow. Now, we said that Tara gave advice to Vali, and at that time she was telling him that what are the qualities of this Rama? Because she had heard from the spies, she had heard from her son Angada, who was reporting about the qualities of this Rama. There, Tara says to Vali, Nivasa Vriksha Sadhunam, Apannanam Paragatihi, Artanam Samshrayah Chaiva, Yashasah Cha Eka Bhajanam. Rama is said to be the habitable tree for the polite. Like all those who are sadhus, they will seek shelter of Rama. He is the ultimate resort. He is the only resort for those who are apanas, for those who are in trouble. He is the gati for those who are in great distress. He is the only resort for them. And he is the only abode for karuna, for grace, for anugraha. So this is the character of Rama. Knowing that such a Rama is come to support Sugriva, you don't go, she tells Vali. But then Vali is not in a state to listen. He is angered, he is in a rage, and he is itching for the fight. So he rushes out without listening to her advice. Tada hitara hitameva vakyam, tam valinam patyam idam babashe, narochate tad vachanam hitasya, kala abhipannasya vinasha kale. Although Tara spoke very beneficial words, although she gave very good advice, those words are unimpressive to Wali. Why? Because he is now being hit by fatality. It is time for his vinasha. And just as we said in some previous satsangat, vinasha kale viparita buddhi, it is time for his doom. It is time for him to go. And because his vinasha time has come, his buddhi has got corrupted. He is not in a position to listen to anybody or anything. So from this, we understand that how, if we are in whatever may be the situation, if there is somebody who is telling us something, especially if that person is our well-wisher, even if the advice that they are giving is unpleasant to us, we should stop and listen to that. We should try and follow what they are telling us instead of getting carried away. If we do not listen to the words of elders, if we don't listen to the advice given to us by people who are our well-wishers, and we do just what we want in a stubborn way, we will have to often meet the same fate as Wali. Our life may not go, but we may lose something very valuable to us. So, all these things the acharyas have conveyed to us, and there are so many aspects that we need to learn from these stories. So, let us pray that the Lord will guide us in this direction. Let us offer Kritagnyata at the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra and Guru, and let us pray for their blessings and grace to always be on us. मङ्गलं कोसलेन्द्राय महनीयगुणाब्धये चक्रवर्तीतनूजाय सार्वभौमाय मङ्गलं वेदवेदान्तवेद्याय मेघश्यामलमूर्तये पुंसां मोहनरूपाय पुण्यश्लोकाय मङ्गलं पितृभक्ताय सततं भ्रातृभिः सह सीतया नन्दिताखिललोकाय रामभद्राय मङ्गलं श्रीमते रघुवीराय सेतूलङ्घितसिन्धवे जितराक्षसराजाय रणधीराय मङ्गलं मङ्गलाशासनपरैर्मदाचार्यपुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्. Thank you everybody. We'll meet again tomorrow and see what happens next. Namaskar.